I hear from so many CIOs and so many CTOs of like, move it all to the cloud. I want it all there tomorrow. That's just not realistic. Realistic is what is appropriate to move to the cloud at what time frame. And some things may not make sense to move into the cloud. They may be more expensive, they may be more painful, they may not fit the architecture or the economic model of it. Don't move that stuff. But leverage the value of the cloud. Just because you can't move it doesn't mean you can't put an API management layer in front of it, or you can't do data aggregation and integration, so that you can get information into a central data warehouse or a central data lake from that information that's on premise. So you need to be thinking about what makes sense for me to move to the cloud and how can I get the best leverage out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I always use the journey metaphor. I mean, my roots, I've been sort of in this space, and realistically, as a journey, there's a lot of existing and there's a lot of net new apps that are built, right? And I think a lot of times the new initiatives that are well suited to cloud infrastructure, typically where people start. Increasingly, like I said, data is at the heart, and data is born everywhere, either in the manufacturing lines and inside the data center, or out in the cloud and outside the data center and at the edge. And so I think, it's finding an appropriate starting point. It's not about lift and shift or forklifting stuff that is already running on premises. But with that said, I do think it's a very real shift to public cloud infrastructure. I think I talk with a fair amount of CIOs and others who have a multi-year journey, and they map it out. Ultimately, some of them will power down data centers and be running out of public infrastructure, but that's not like next week, right? It is a journey, but I think there's appetite for a lot of the reasons we covered before on why cloud. It's really a matter of how and where to start, right?
Yeah, exactly.